Okay, back to the dinim of mezuzah. Okay, now when you have a mezuzah, to put up, so you go to the store already, you have a finished mezuzah, but the process is after the writing, when you want to put a mezuzah into a case, so you have to roll the mezuzah from end to beginning. In other words, Shema Yisrael's in this way, So you take it from the end, you roll it to the beginning, that as soon as you open it up, you see the Shema Yisrael and that line down there. You have to be careful when you roll it. I mean, people that do it know what they're doing, but you have to be careful because sometimes if you're going to bend the mezuzah, bend it, then you're going to rub off some of the ink. Some of the ink may pop off. So you have to be careful when you roll it, you don't actually bend the mezuzah because then the mezuzah could become not kosher. So you have to put it, now some people put it into plastic, other people say you shouldn't put it into plastic because then it doesn't allow air to go into the mezuzah. The mezuzah needs to breathe also. The letters need to breathe a little bit. Even a Sefer Torah that you find, you have to roll it once every 30 days or so, it needs to get air. So what you do is when you have the mezuzah, so you put it in either wax paper, they usually put it in or something like that, and then you put it into a case. Huh? It's not actually, some people do it in plastic. It doesn't ruin the mezuzah, but I'm saying in the long term it will, they usually put it in a wax paper. That allows it to breathe and it protects it. Then you put it into the case. And you have to make sure the mezuzah is putting right side. If you turn it upside down and put it into the case, it's not kosher either. Mezuzah has to hang right side up on the door. So even if you put it in the case the wrong way, it's also not kosher. It has to make sure that it's going upwards in that direction. Now, the poskim discuss why isn't the case considered a hefsek, a separation, a chetzitza, between the doorpost and the mezuzah. Like you find by tefillin, we learned that tefillin have to be on the body itself. Why by mezuzah is it that you can have it in, so they say that's really an extension of the doorpost. The case is just an extension of the doorpost. It's not a separate thing that it's mamish separating.
You wouldn't say that about Shlomo. It's a great question. You wouldn't say that about Shlomo.
Yeah, but over here, the mezuzah has to be on the doorpost. Who says the case is not part of the doorpost? The case is part of this is what the poskim write. Other poskim write different reasons, but that's the general accepted reason why it's not considered a hefsek in any way whatsoever.
Some cases they could turn.
Huh?
Some places they have this glass and they're held from the bottom.
Yeah.
They can turn like that.
Well, you want to make sure that the shin faces outside. If it doesn't, it's not possible. But the custom is to the shin that you put on the outside of the mezuzah, you put facing out. What? So you try to do it. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't. Vaad Din, it's kosher anyway. But you try to make it that the shin, you roll it in a way that the shin sticks up and things like that. Now, when you stick a mezuzah on a doorpost, it has to be what's called kviyas mezuzah. It has to be established. Meaning it has to be holding firmly. Shulchan Aruch always has the expression, you're not getting with a nail. That's the Lashon Shulchan Aruch. But poskim write, because they didn't have the things we have today. What? Oh. Today, you can do it with glue, you can do it with double-edged tape. The main thing is, the mezuzah has to be held firmly on the door. If let's say you have, let's say your nails, and the bottom nail came out, and now it's only holding by the top nail that the mezuzah can go a swing, then it's not kosher. Mezuzah has to be held firmly on the door. It doesn't matter how you're holding it. It could be nails, it could be screws, it could be glue, it could be double-edged tape that's strong, that makes sure it holds good. Then it's not, now, what?
What if it's shaky loose? I mean, the screws and nails are there, but it's, rattling.
Why should it be rattling?
Because they're not in firmly, but they're in, right?
No, they're supposed to be in firmly. They're supposed to be in a way that the mezuzah doesn't shake.
But they're in halfway.
If they're in halfway, you knock them in the rest of the way. What do you do if a person eats half the meal? He finishes the other half. What do you do? Okay.
If it's Scotch tape, just put on top of the
Scotch tape is not going to hold it properly. It's not going to be kosher. It has to be held firmly. You know. Now it's interesting. Some people, this is not halacha. Some people have a custom that they won't use metal cases for a mezuzah. Such a minig. It's not halacha. Again, halachically, you can use any case for mezuzah. Some people have a custom, they won't even use a silver mezuzah case or a metal mezuzah case because metal basically is shortening the life of a person. The Gemara says, Barzel shortens the life of a person. Mezuzah is l'man yorichun yamecha, you know, man yorichun yamecha, to live long. So some people don't use metal. Some people, different things, different customs, what they use. But again, halachically, any case that you have in holding the mezuzah, as long as it's held firmly, it's fine. Now, what happens if somebody is putting up a bunch of mezuzahs at the same time? So then you make one bracha for all the mezuzahs. You don't have to make a separate bracha on each door. If you don't put them up on the same day or the same time, say some mezuzah, you don't have all your mezuzahs yet. So you're putting up some in the morning, some in the afternoon, or some today, some tomorrow. So then you have to make a new bracha on the mezuzah. But you have to remember, we learned the other day that if there's no door, there might be a doorway, but if there's no door, it's an argument in halacha if it needs a mezuzah or not. So therefore halacha says you must put up a mezuzah, but you don't make a bracha. So if you're planning to make a bracha on a mezuzah, you have to pick a doorway that has a door.
Can you put two mezuzah in one doorway?
Two? What did you ask?
Can you put two mezuzah in one doorway?
You could physically, but you get a sin called Bal Taisif. You're adding onto a mitzvah, so not only are you not getting the mitzvah, you're transgressing a negative commandment of adding onto mitzvahs. Or the same thing, by the way, if you put one mezuzah on each side. Let's say you don't know which side it's, can go this way. So you say, you know what, I have extra mezuzahs, I'll put them on both sides. So then you're getting a sin called Bal Taisif. You're adding, I'm not joking, it says Allah, you're adding onto mitzvahs. And now sometimes you come to people's houses, you tell them to put up a kosher mezuzah, but they have on the front door, this tiny mezuzah that's been painted over 60 times already, and you can assume definitely it's not kosher. But they don't want to take it down. It's sentimental value. It's is there already 70 years, So because that mezuzah is most probably not kosher. So then if you put up another kosher mezuzah, you're not adding on to mezuzah because that's not a mezuzah. So it would be better to convince them to leave that, if they dafka want to leave that mezuzah up, let them leave it up, but then you put up another kosher mezuzah on it. What? Whoever looks at it and knows the halacha that you can't have two mezuzahs will know that that's not a kosher mezuzah.
What did you say about the door a moment ago?
What?
You said the doorway with the door is what you should make the bracha on.
Correct.
So a doorway without a door doesn't have the same feel?
No. Because it says a doorway without a door is a machlekes in halacha if it needs a mezuzah. Okay? So therefore, the din is you have to put up a mezuzah, but without a bracha.
So theoretically, if you're doing your second batch and you check your mezuzahs, yeah? And you, I didn't leave one door, then you make it without bracha, essentially.
I'll tell you something else also. Let's say you need 20 mezuzahs and you only have 10 to put up now. Where should you put them up first? So those doorways that have a door have preference to put them up right away over a doorway that doesn't have a door.
Okay, if you have a house that has an emergency exit or something,
No.
nobody ever uses it.
Still needs a mezuzah. Not only that, if you have a doorway and you didn't bolt it shut, because then it's not a door anymore. But you have a doorway, but you don't use it, so you put a big bookcase over it, in front of it, I mean. And now, is basically not a door because you can't, unless you walk through the bookcase. Nevertheless, the door is still a doorway. It's still a door. You have something blocking it. So you block it. But if you bolted it shut, that you can't open it, then that doesn't need a mezuzah anymore. But even if you block a doorway, let's say in front of this door, you put a big bookcase, okay, and you can't get, it doesn't matter, it's still a door. If it's a door, it needs a doorway, huh? No, I'm saying if you bolt it in, then you bolted the door shut, so then you wouldn't need a mezuzah.
All doorways that have, that like windows are all, I mean, like, actually they're doors, but use the.
If it's a door window, they make a lot of times, these big windows, but actually they're made also to walk in and out. You need mezuzahs there. I'll tell you even more. What?
It's not on the second floor when you have a door, or then you have a railing halfway up. That's not a door, that's a window.
Oh, no, he's saying a door that you can walk through.
You walk through?
Yeah,
That's a door.
so it's a door. I use called window. But you have a bigger problem, I'll tell you. Sometimes Spanish-built houses, in the backyard, you have a lot of archways. You ever see in the backyard, you can have 5, 10 archways. If people walk in and out through those archways, they all need a mezuzah. Wow. That's how you have arguments like, people have it. It's not uncommon. 5 archways in the backyard. You have a driveway going down, by the driveway, there's an arch, right? That arch needs a mezuzah.
What about
If you have 2 archways, you need 2 mezuzahs.
What about a small balcony? Like, like enough for a couple of, like.
No, we said it has to be 6 feet by 6 feet.
I saw by New York fire escape, it's all up by the window on Mezuzah, because in case of emergency, they would run out of that window.
Yeah, but it's not made as a door. I mean, God forbid if there's a fire, somebody will jump out the window from the 2nd floor. You're not going to put a mezuzah there because in case of
If you have only few mezuzahs, you know you're going to come back and do it, or you don't have time to do the rest of it. You still have to say bracha again?
Again, if it's not done at the same time, you're allowed to talk between, but I'm saying if it's not if it's a morning and afternoon or morning next day, by the way, contrary to public opinion, not public opinion, that some people say, they heard you don't put up mezuzahs at night. There's a Baba you can put up mezuzahs. There's no reason why you can't put up mezuzahs at night. Night is the same obligation in mezuzah as is by day. There's a question, one second. By tzitzis, which is a daytime mitzvah, so there's a big argument in halacha if you're allowed to make, wrap the tzitzis at night. One opinion is it's machlekes between the Pri Megadim and the Levush. One says lechatchila you could do it, and the other one says even b'diavad it's not kosher. That's the extreme. What tzitzis?
No, tying.
I'm talking tying the. Making, now we buy them ready-made, but I'm saying to make them. We hold is like this, that the Rebbe Rashab told Rabbi Yankel Lando that you could make them at night. But I heard that the Rebbe, so basically, the Mishmar Shalom brings down the machlekes between the Pri Megadim and Levush. The Pearl, it's off topic of tzitzis, but we all, the Rebbe Rashab said you could make it at night. But I was once told that the Rebbe once sent out a pair of tzitzis, our Rebbe sent out a pair of tzitzis to a bachet to make the tzitzis. And the Rebbe said he shouldn't do it at night and he shouldn't do it during Seder, the yeshiva. So over there, the Rebbe, this is what I heard, I don't know, but this is already printed, that Rabbi Yaakov Landel said. Huh? Why not? What? What? To make them? You make them during the day usually.
He's asking if the ones that I sell are made during the day. And I have no idea.
But pashtas are made during the day. Okay. And what?
You're putting a mezuzahs in a house, on the doorways that have doors, anyone should start with first, front door, any door is fine.
The truth is, once you have a room that's 6 by 6 feet, and it has a doorway, they're all equal. The meaning is people put it on the front door first, but you can't only have on the front door. You have a chiyuv on every door. What? One second.
It's only the maintenance at night.
We hold this, it's kosher. One.
I heard from Jim Hellinger that the front door is met with a little hallway, it doesn't have 66, you can't make a bracha on that front door, you have to do it on the next door.
If the room doesn't have 6 by 6, yeah, of course.
Like in New York, it's very common to have a small room.
Vestibule.
Yeah, so then it's a question if you can make a bracha. The room's not 6 by 6.
Front door is not
So that, right. Usually in California, New York.
We need a mezuzah in the front.
He's doing it for the listeners online, that's beautiful.
Mach a schön zum Essen, mein Kim, schon lag out there, von der Rasche, mit der Woche sagst du,